I'm not going to sing one. I'm going to play one. I'm going to do an instrumental, a version of "Somewhere Over the Rainbow." I'm not going to sing it because Lord knows Judy Garland nailed it the first time, and I don't need to compete with that. But I am going to do an instrumental version of "Somewhere Over the Rainbow," and because I am a big fan of Grady Martin, who is my favorite guitar player. Did all the really cool stuff on all of Marty Robbins' songs. And so on the end of the song, I'll throw in just a little bit of El Paso. So the song becomes Somewhere Over El Paso. Now, I happened to bump into Grady Martin one time in Nashville at the Nashville Hall of Fame. He was there doing a signing, and I talked to him, and I was so excited because, I mean, that was the reason I really wanted to play guitar. Just loved the way he played. And so I walked up and goes, man, that guitar part on El Paso. He goes, hold it. I don't want to talk about that. I go, what? He says, I hated that guitar part. He says, we'd cut that song 27 times. He said, the bass player kept blowing it on the bridge, and we had to cut it again. I nailed the song with the best solo I've ever played on the first take. He said, by the time we played it 27 times, I was tired of the song. I can't even listen to it on the radio. I go, damn, that's a shame. I based my entire career on that. All right, here we go. This old black crow sitting on a fence, trying hard to look intelligent. Silly old crow acts like a fool, but he's lost his soul. He just don't know that yet. Hey, old black crow, nobody likes you. Got a nasty squawk, you got a bad attitude. Mean old crow's got a one-way heart. He only does what he wants to. He's a mean old crow. Lies to his mother, steals from his brothers just for grins. He's a nasty old crow. Cusses his neighbors, even birds of a feather do not call him a friend. So he went and got himself some bright red spots, and he glued them on his wings. Now he's looking pretty sharp on the outside. On the inside, man, he still stinks. He's an old black crow. Don't want to hear about Jesus. No, he's way too cool for a cat like that. And he don't want to know that God really loves him just the way that he is, right where he's at. Don't need forgiveness, don't even think about salvation. Maybe he should, he ain't ready yet. See, he's flying high, still there's something above him. And someday he may have to deal with that. Well, this old black crow, man, he sure do look familiar. You know, he reminds me of someone I used to know. And I thank God daily, 'cause I can clearly remember when I used to be that old black crow. Thank you. Now, Jonathan Byrd. Do you know who Jonathan Byrd is? Anybody here know who he is? He's one of the rising stars in the Americana folk, and he's a great songwriter and a wonderful guy. And he produced my Talk About album, which is the album I put out just before this. And he did a remarkable job on it. And so when I handed him my new CD, which he had nothing to do with, and he listened to it on the way home, and he sent me a review of the CD. It was good. It was a nice review. It said, "My review of Butch Morgan's new CD, Dry. I dislike very much Butch Morgan's new CD, Dry, because I produced his last CD, and Dry is better." Great. said he's always right behind me. He likes to follow too close. That's why I don't slow down much. That's why I keep on the go. This is life as I know it. No, it ain't nothing new. I'm staying one step in front of Mr. Blue. How about you? Now there's no need to look back. Hell, I know who it is. It's a friendly old pest who's been chasing me for years. In my life, I've had hard knocks, made bad choices, paid some dues. Still I've managed to stay one step in front of Mr. Blue. Now Mr. Blue, you know he's always there. You can have him anytime. He'll be glad to stay a spell. He'll be glad to rob you blind, take everything you own, leave you broke and confused. Do yourself a favor, stay away from Mr. Blue. Oh yeah. Now I don't have much to offer in the way of good advice, except maybe keep looking up and do something good with your life, and be sure to wear really comfortable shoes so you can stay one step in front of Mr. Blue. Stay one step in front of Mr. Blue. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What is it? Man in the Mirror. Man in the Mirror. Okay, that's a slow song. We just did a slow song. So let me do a fast song, then I'll do Man in the Mirror for you. I want to do a song. This is called the Animal Song, and it's actually known as Whoop. And I don't know why, but it's I don't really. This was a song. Okay, just to give you an example, Jonathan Berg. What makes a good producer is a good producer will pull things out of you that you don't necessarily want to do. When I told Jonathan that I wanted, let me go back. Okay. It was a conversation at the National Folk Alliance with Rodney Crowell. That's where it started. I was standing talking to Rodney Crowell. You know who Rodney Crowell is. He's a great songwriter. He's had a number of hits. And I was standing there, I go, what was the greatest thing you ever did for your songwriting when you went into the studio? He says, well, Butch, the best thing I ever did was, like, I write the songs, get them as good as I can, then I get me a producer, and I just give them all to him. I let him pick the songs out to go on the thing, pick all the musicians in the studio, and I just go in and be an artist. And I just listen to him. I take all all of his advice. I get the songs as good as I can, and I just give them all to him. And out of the 25 or so that I give him, he'll hone it down to 13, and that's what I do. And I go, well, cool. So I call Jonathan. I go, Jonathan, I want you to produce my CD, but this is what I want to do. Like, I want to give you 25 songs, and I want you to pick out the songs. You can put them in any order you want. You can decide what instruments go on them. I don't care what you do. Like, it's going to be your baby. I'm just going to be the guitar player and singer in the studio. He goes, that's a great idea. So I sent him 25 songs. He sent me back a list, and I didn't want to do any of those songs. It was crazy because he says now, because I wanted to give him all my new songs. But John goes, you've been writing songs since 65. You've got songs that are really great that you've never recorded. I go, yeah. He says, I want at least 4 songs you wrote before 1980. I go, you're kidding me. He goes, I'm not kidding. I go, okay. He says, and I want you to ask your wife for a song. I go, really? He goes, yeah. I guarantee she's going to name a song that you haven't thought of in years that she likes a lot, and it's going to be a great song. So I did. I asked Barbara, I go, what song would you like to put on the CD? She says, well, you know, I've always loved that Animal song. He goes, oh, really? You know, like, please, not that. She goes, yes, that's the one you asked me. So I sent it to John. Of course, it made it onto the record. And it is one of my favorite songs on the record. And I would have never recorded it. I started doing the song live, and for whatever reason, the little group of fans that used to come out to see me every Wednesday at Casbeers for 8 years, they started in the middle of the song, they'd go, whoop. So that's your part. You don't know where it comes in. You just go, whoop. Okay, you got it? Let's try one time. Whoop. All right, but you know, louder. Yeah, here we go. Now, I don't necessarily believe this song or think like this, but we're going to do it anyway. Come on now. That's better. I used to be an animal. Once I was the grass. I was air, I was water. Man, I was a gas. I used to be the Amazon when it was just a creek. Once I was so mountain strong, I was always at my peak. Now something inside is crying, something inside is dying. It won't leave me alone. Here we go! I used to be a horny toad with eyes that did not blink. Once I was a mother lode of iron and gold and zinc. I used to be a mighty amoeba waiting just to split. Then I was a pachyderm, and that's a life I can't forget. Now something inside is crying, something inside is dying. It won't leave me alone. used to be the ocean, blue-green. Once I was the sky. Once I was so beautiful, I thought I'd never die. I used to be the Amazon when it was just a creek. Once I was so mountain strong, I was always at my peak. Now something inside is crying, something inside is dying. It won't leave me alone. Wow, wow, wow. Something inside is crying, something inside is dying. It won't leave me alone. Wow, wow, wow. All right. Come on. Don't give up. One more. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. So, Man in the Mirror. So my dad recently passed away, June the 11th, and I told you about that. And he was a great guy. And when he was 90 years old, he's a World War II vet. He served in the Philippines and in Australia, and 5 years, and he made it home. Of course, obviously, I wouldn't be here if he didn't. And he was a wonderful patriot. Loved America. He worked hard, gave up a lot for the family, and just did what he was supposed to do. And so on his 90th birthday, for his birthday, I decided he'd been everywhere in the country. Him and Mom, the last 18 years of their marriage, they had a travel trailer, and they traveled all over the country and went to Alaska and just everywhere they wanted to go, but they never went to Washington, D.C. And they had the World War II memorial, and I decided I was going to take him. So my van, I put him in the van out there, and I drove him to Washington, D.C., and we stayed a week and a half. And we went to, the Smithsonian and all that stuff. We went to the World War II Museum and the POW Vietnam Memorial and all those things. And it was a wonderful time, and I wouldn't trade it for nothing, and he wouldn't either. We had a really, really great time. And but I remember we were standing in the Aerospace Museum, and they had the Wright brothers, and then some little plane, and then, a jet, and then space capsule, satellite, a space capsule. My dad just there goes, oh, I've seen all that stuff. I was 7 years old when that happened. This is chasing a buggy down a road. Anyway, on the way back, I took a little tape recorder and I tried to record. He was a great storyteller, and he lost his voice in later years in life, and he couldn't talk, and then he lost his hearing and he couldn't hear, and he was always a communicator, and that really did work hard on him, and so I tried to include him in all those kind of things, and so it was just one-on-one. I had a little tape recorder, and I wanted to capture some of the stories for my granddaughter and for the family, and so he had lots of great stories, but he didn't like to be recorded, and so we'd be going down the road. And I go, Dad, tell me about that when y'all were, when you used to work at the Purple Sage there in Madisonville. You ran the projector, and those two little kids that stood out in front of the with the werewolf and Frankenstein, and one of them said to the other one, said, "Wonder which one will whoop," and the other one said, "Well, Frankenstein will whoop because you can't kill him because he's already dead." I said, "Can you tell me that story?" He goes, you ain't got that damn recorder on, do you?" "No, sir." And then I repent later on, and so, forgive me. But I asked him, I go, "You've been through so much in your life, and what's the toughest thing you've ever had to face?" And he goes, "It's that guy I see every night before I go to bed in the mirror. I don't like him, because he knows me too well, and he doesn't let me get by with anything." And so, Man in the Mirror. And so I wrote this song about my man in the mirror. I don't know the guy that my dad was talking about. My dad was sweet, kind. But he had his flaws, just like we all do. So this is my man in the mirror, and you've got your woman in the mirror, your man in the mirror. You know what I'm talking about. So. Well, I get to see him every night, just before I go to bed. He stands there in his underwear, with a silly hat still on his head. I brush my teeth and he looks at me, and I'm thinking, is that really who I am? Am I the man in the mirror? Now I must admit, I'm not impressed one little bit with your coolness or your style or the way you know just what to say through that expensive little smile. Now I know nobody knows me quite the way you do, the man in the mirror. Hey man in the mirror, have you noticed that your hair is turning gray? I say, yep, I've noticed. I'm just glad I don't feel as old as you look today. You know, sometimes your skin can be a little thin, and you are thick between your ears, the man in the mirror. And he knows my every secret and every dark thing in my soul. And I know every crazy thought he's ever had, and every lie he's ever told. Now I pray no one on this here planet ever gets to know the man in the mirror. When the last song's sung, when all the lights go out, when I'm finally home, well, I'll have another face-to-face. I'll say, Lord, there's something I'd sure like to know. Why would you come down here to save the man I see, the man in the mirror? Yeah, I get to see him every night, just before I go to bed. He stands there in his underwear, not much going on in that old head. And I look him over head to toe. He can be such a hypocrite, the man in the mirror. He's so full of it, the man in the mirror. But God forgives the man in the mirror.
Do whatever you and the crowd wants.
What do y'all want to do?
15.
Oh, I know what I want to do. I'll do this. We had, I'll do this because this is about my parents. Another little slow song, then I'll pick the tempo up. Was that good?
Yep.
Okay. Because this is kind of a new song, so let's see if I can do it for you. I wrote this based on two families. We lived next door to each other in Brownsville, and both of the mothers and the father, my mother and my father, and then the McBride's mother and father, kind of raised all four of us kids together because we were always playing together. So at any given point in time, Mom's going, where are the kids? And they're next door. And that's kind of the way it was. And both families had their problems at this time. So I kind of put both families in this song, and I just feel like doing it. So here we go. Well, they met in school and they married young. He went to work, they had a son, then he lost his job. He gave God the blame. That very night she damn near left the guy. A bloody lip, it's a good reason why. Still she believed him when he swore would never happen again. Waiting on a better day. The doctor said, you know, it ain't good news. There's nothing more that we can do, and prayer is all that stands between you and what you're facing. Now they sit at home alone, and their only child is gone. Take another drink to ease the pain, and the waiting on a better day. Now something happened to him years ago. Something only they know. They made their peace with God. Now it's 50 years they've been side by side, up mountains tall, across valleys wide, and they swear they would not change one thing. Waiting on a better day. Thank you. I'm the hero in my western world. Wear a white hat and a rope I twirl. Save the town and I get the girl. I'm the hero in my western world. Now when I was a little kid, play cowboy is what I did, and I was quick on the draw, fastest that you never saw, and I like Gene and Hop-Along. Pioneers sang me songs, I rode around righting wrongs. Yeah, I was a good guy all day long. I was the hero in my western world. Rode a white horse and a rope I twirl. Save the town and I get the girl. I'm the hero in my western world. Yeah, but in reality, I'm just a man. No rope, no spurs, no open land. This is what I've come to know. Up is just the way you grow, and I'm still a cowboy deep inside. Long to saddle up and ride into some spaces open wide, with just this old guitar by my side. Be the hero in my western world. Wear a white hat and a rope I twirl. Save the town and I get the girl. I'm the hero in my western world. 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 All right, everybody grab a note and sing me with me here. Here we go. Let's go straight. Ooh, doo, 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 doo. Can you do that? Ooh, doo, 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 doo. Just keep that going. Ooh, doo, doo, doo. Yeah, even though it was like a really long time ago, I still do remember it quite well. You see, it would be late in the evening and I would be a long way from the house. But you know, I never did get so far away from the house that I could not hear my mama. In fact, I ain't so sure that you can get far enough away from your house that you can't hear your mama. Because I actually hear my mama right now. She'd stand on the back porch and she would holler at me. She'd say, Butch Rod Morgan. Like I would ignore her as long as I could until I knew it was going to be to my detriment. Finally, I would answer back. I'd say, what, mama? She'd say, you get your tail in the house right now. Dinner's on the table. And I'd rack my little brain and try to think of some good excuse so I could stay outside just a little bit longer. Finally, I would holler back. I'd say, Mama, I'm not rounded up all the bad guys yet. And she'd say, well, you hurry up and round them up. And don't make me call you again. And I'd say, oh, okay, Mama. Let me tie up my tricycle. I'll be right in. Thank you very much. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. Peace. Thank you. Thank you. We can do, what can we do? We can do Gone, Gone, Gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. For 18 years, I was a drug addict. I should have died, but by the grace of God, I did not. I made a good choice at some point. I started looking for something, and I found it. So I quit the music business because music had always been my God, and it had let me down so terribly that I didn't really care about it anymore. And I moved to Tennessee. Me and my wife, newlywed, took her down there to the holler, to an old house that didn't have any running water, no electricity. And we got our lives all straightened out. 2 years we lived there with no electricity and no running water. Still the best 2 years of my life, and hers too. Thank you. In the meantime, this guy that I'd met in the 70s named Jim Foster was a song publisher, had heard a couple of my songs with my band, the Buckboard Band, and I was down there living in the holler, and I get a letter in the mail, and it's from him. And he goes, "Hey, I'm in Nashville. I got a little publishing deal going on." And I remember that song, "This Ain't No Jukebox." And he says, "They got a band here called the Dusters. They're fixing to break nationwide, and they need a hit song, and that's it. Can we do it? And we'll use it as the title song to the album." I go, "Really?" And he goes, "Yep." So, of course, I said, "Great." They recorded the song. So I was so excited because I wasn't in the music business, and yet the songs were. And so I was just going to go to my mailbox every 6 months and get my check, you know? So I went to Walmart and I got a pair of house slippers and a bathrobe. And that was going to be it. And I was just going to go write songs, and I was going to walk to the mailbox and get my check and come back in. And that would have all been fine, except the Dusters released the song, and it was a pretty good hit. But I didn't make $18 million. I made $1,800, which was a nice chunk of change. And I kept the bathrobe and the house slippers, but things didn't look so cheery. They all became heroin addicts, and the band broke up. And so the record sales just stopped. But as it was ordained, somehow I got a phone call. Now we had a phone now because I had $1,800. I got a phone. And so I got a phone call from Jim. He goes, "Hey, got this band, the Georgia Satellites. You know those guys?" I go, "Yeah." He says, "They want to do your song, Gone, Gone, Gone." All right. You know, so cool. So I went and bought some sunglasses just to match my bathrobe and slippers. Because I knew they'd already had 2 #1 hits. And so this is going to be the title song off their album, Georgia Satellites, Gone, Gone, Gone. Great. And would have been great, except they all became heroin addicts. I'm not kidding you. And the band broke up. And so Jimmy called me and says, "I'm not going to get anybody else to record your songs because, you know, it's not working out really well." So everybody's becoming heroin addicts. But I did make money on this song, and I made money on the last one, and it's been good for me. And my friend Larry Patton helped me write this song. And I know you've heard it probably. If you do, sing along. If you don't, sing along. Tell me you can't dance. There you go. Now you said you'd always love me and you'd never ever leave me, but you're gone, gone, gone. Till death do us part from the bottom of your heart, but you're gone, gone, gone. I thought you was my woman, then you started roaming. I should have known all along. Said I was your lover, said there was no other, but you're gone, gone, gone. That's good, girls. Now you said you'd always be there. I don't see you anywhere. No, you're gone, gone, gone. I just found the note, said that's all she wrote, and you're gone, gone, gone. You was my woman, then you started roaming. I should have known all along. You said I was your lover, said there was no other. Still you're gone, gone, gone. Oh yeah. You said I was your lover, said there was no other, but you're gone, gone, gone. I just found the note, said that's all she wrote, and you're gone, 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 yeah. Thought you was my woman, then you started roaming. I should have known all along. Said I was your lover, said there was no other, but you're gone, gone, gone. You're gone, gone, gone. You're gone, gone, gone. Bye-bye, girls. See you next time. Thanks a lot. You were great. Thank you so much. All right. Ho! Thank you. That was awesome.